Now, this is an interesting one because Congressman Matt Gaetz has been named as Trump's Attorney General, but some Republicans say he is the worst person for the role. The Wall Street Journal editorial board said that Donald Trump's appointment of him is a bad idea. He's a performer, a provocateur, and his view is that the more explosions he can cause, the more attention he can get. And here is some of his past commentary.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Beau is certainly fiery like his boss. Why do you think Trump nominated him?
I think Trump wants to send a message. This is like a political grenade. It's a statement pick. Because Matt Gaetz is a guy who is a firebrand. He is a bit of a loudmouth. And it's symbolic, though, because he would examine the weaponization of the justice system. He'd look at the First and Second Amendments. He would look at border policy. He would look at election fraud. It's a very MAGA posture for a presidential pick. But it's also a notice to the establishment. You mentioned the Republicans that don't like him. I mean, this is the guy, if you remember, Danica, that was thwarting Kevin McCarthy's bid to be Speaker of the House. He kind of ticks off Republicans and Democrats alike. But I got to say this, he's going to face a lot of backlash. And the reason why is maybe in Australia, you don't know this, but there's an ethics investigation into him. And that was supposed to drop tomorrow and be made public, and Gaetz has resigned. As a result of his resignation, that report might not be made public. Now, it may be leaked. The Democrats may leak it, but this is something that's seriously being looked at and has been for quite some time, and always thought about Gaetz. So, you know, I think it was a symbolic pick, what Trump was trying to do. The question of whether or not he can actually make past confirmation and become the next attorney general is an entirely different matter. But I think this is probably his most controversial pick and his most extreme pick.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. Now, look, no surprises here, but who would have thought ratings for left-wing media organisations have plummeted? In fact, total daily viewership for MSNBC fell by 51%. For CNN, it was 26%. Now, not that they seem to want to learn, because here was MSNBC's Joy Reid's view on Trump's cabinet.
The former and future president is moving quickly to fill the clown car and round out his cabinet before he changes his mind and fires them all. Moments ago, Trump announced that he has selected Fox Weekend morning show host, you can't make this up, Pete Hegseth, to serve as Secretary of Defense, because why not?
And Beau, you know, this is not true because Hegseth actually served overseas as an Army major and was awarded 2 Bronze Stars. Are you surprised that the ratings are hemorrhaging?
Well, Danica, they're either stupid or they're stubborn. Because, you know, the left and their media have one choir to preach to, and that's the left of the country, which you would say is what, about half of America? That's roughly 170 million people. Not only are they not being able to preach to half the country, they're not even able to preach to 0.5% of that number I just mentioned. So this is a time, honestly, for newsrooms to look back and look at their boards, look at their executive producers, look at their staff and say, hey, maybe we went wrong. You know what I mean? It's a time for reflection. And you hear a lot of times, Danica, that news producers and newsrooms and news media conglomerates will say, we want our station to be an accurate depiction of America, an accurate reflection. If there's no diversity of thought in your newsroom, then it is not an accurate depiction of America. It's completely one-sided. So this is a moment and time for introspection and reflection. And ABC, there's a report that just came out today that there was an all-hands-on-deck meeting talking about we've got to get more conservative commentators because they realize their flaw. They realize the hubris that they've had for so many years. And they're like, listen, this isn't even a political message. This is going to be an economic decision we're about to make. So I give ABC credit. We'll see whether they do anything. But really, this is a watershed moment for the media. They're declining and they're going to continue to decline unless you have diversity of thought.
Yeah, and I think that that's what Trump's re-election has told the world, that you need to have that diversity of thought. Beau Davidson, always wonderful to speak with you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Likewise.